The city was bustling with energy that morning, a steady rhythm of busy professionals rushing to their offices, the sound of footsteps echoing against the tall buildings. It was one of those perfect sun-drenched days when everything felt just right. The weather was warm but not too hot, the air crisp, and the sky was a deep blue canvas. Inside a shiny skyscraper, a young girl no older than 7 stood in the lobby, looking up at the towering walls with wide eyes. Her hands tightly gripped a small envelope, a piece of paper that seemed far too important for her tiny fingers. She was dressed in a simple dress, the kind a mother would pick out for her child, something cheerful and bright. But the girl wasn't there to play. No, this was serious. This was grown-up business. Her mother had been scheduled to attend an important meeting with a wealthy businessman, a man who had made a name for himself as one of the most influential figures in the city. Her mom had worked hard to secure this meeting, to negotiate a deal that could change their lives. But that morning things took an unexpected turn. Her mother had woken up feeling ill, too sick to leave the house. She had tried to rest, hoping it would pass, but it didn't. The girl, concerned and determined, had made up her mind. She wasn't going to let her mom miss this chance. Her mother had always taught her about responsibility and the importance of family. She knew the meeting was important for their future, and if her mom couldn't go, then she would. With her mother's blessings and a last-minute pep talk, the girl set off to the office on her own. It wasn't the first time she had done something brave. She was used to being independent, used to taking care of things when her mother needed help. But this was different. This wasn't just about running errands or picking up groceries. This was stepping into a world she had only ever heard about in stories. The world of businessmen, deals, and million-dollar decisions. The elevator ride to the top floor was slow, and with each passing floor, the girl felt the weight of her decision settle in. What if they didn't take her seriously? What if they laughed at her? What if she couldn't do it? The doors finally opened with a soft ding, and she stepped into the lobby of the office. The building was everything she had imagined, sleek, modern, and filled with high-end decorations that gleamed under the bright lights. There were polished floors, clean lines, and glass windows that overlooked the city below. She took a deep breath and walked up to the receptionist's desk. The receptionist, a woman in her mid-30s, looked up from her computer and blinked in surprise when she saw the little girl standing there. "Can I help you?" the receptionist asked, a bit confused. The girl swallowed nervously and straightened her posture. She held up the letter her mother had given her, the one with the businessman's name on it. "I'm here to see Mr. R," the girl said quietly. "My mom was supposed to come, but she's sick, so I came instead." The receptionist raised an eyebrow, clearly unsure of what to make of the situation. She had seen a lot of things in her time working at the company, but this was definitely unexpected. She scanned the girl up and down, then looked at the letter in her hand. "I see. Okay, let me check if Mr. R is available," she said, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "Please wait here." The receptionist picked up the phone and dialed a number, speaking briefly before hanging up. A few moments later, she looked back at the girl. "You can go right in. He's expecting you." The girl nodded, her heart racing as she stepped forward. The door to the conference room opened, and she was ushered inside. The room was large and intimidating, with a long glass table at its center surrounded by high-backed chairs. The walls were decorated with paintings and shelves lined with books, most of which looked far too complicated for a child to understand. At the far end of the room, sitting behind a large desk, was Mr. R. He was a man in his early 50s, sharply dressed in a suit that cost more than most people made in a year. His hair was graying at the temples, his eyes sharp and calculating. When he looked up and saw the little girl standing at the entrance, he raised an eyebrow. "Well, this is a surprise," he said in a deep voice, his gaze scanning her. "I was expecting your mother." "I'm here instead," the girl replied, her voice firm despite the nerves bubbling inside her. "She's sick, but she told me to come. I can talk about everything." Mr. R stared at her for a moment, processing what she had said. The girl was clearly young, no more than 7. And yet here she was, standing in front of him, ready to step into the shoes of someone much older. "Well," he said, leaning back in his chair, "this is certainly unexpected. But since you're here, I suppose we can go ahead and talk. What do you have for me?" The girl stepped forward, her heart pounding, but she didn't back down. "My mom wanted to make a deal with you," she began, holding up the letter she had been carrying. "It's about the partnership. She's been working really hard, and this meeting is really important for her business. She's not here, but I can explain everything. Mr. R leaned forward, clearly intrigued. He was used to dealing with serious business people, not children. But there was something about the girl's confidence that made him pause. He couldn't help but wonder, could she really know what she was talking about? Well, go ahead then, he said, motioning for her to continue. The girl took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. As she spoke, she recounted everything her mother had told her, the details of the potential partnership, the benefits it could bring to both businesses, and how it would help her mother's company grow. She spoke carefully, making sure to use the words she had heard her mother use in their discussions. It wasn't easy, but she did her best. Mr. R listened quietly, his face unreadable. He didn't interrupt, didn't make any comments. The only sound in the room was the soft murmur of the girl's voice as she went through the details, explaining everything as best as she could. When she was finished, she looked up at him, waiting for his response. She was exhausted from the nerves and the pressure, but she tried not to show it. Well, that was impressive, Mr. R said slowly, clearly surprised. You did a good job explaining everything. But you must understand this is a big deal. My company has been in business for many years. We don't just make deals with anyone, especially not someone so young. The girl's shoulders slumped a little, but she didn't give up. I know my mom's company is small, but she's worked hard. She deserves this chance. She's been working every day, doing everything herself. Please just listen to her idea. It's good. Mr. R was quiet for a long time, his gaze fixed on the girl. For a moment, it almost felt like time had stopped. He was thinking, weighing his options. And then finally he spoke. You know, you're a very brave little girl, he said softly. I think your mother would be proud of you. Mr. R's words hung in the air for a moment, and the girl could feel her heart skip a beat. She had been nervous before, but now there was something else in his voice, and something soft, almost reassuring. She hadn't expected him to say that, to recognize her courage. It made her feel a little less out of place in the huge, intimidating room. She'd come here to help her mother, and now it felt like she might actually be making a difference. The billionaire businessman who had been so cold and professional before leaned forward in his chair. He studied her for a moment, his eyes narrowing as if he was trying to figure out the best way to proceed. Tell me more about your mother's business, he said. What does she do exactly? The girl blinked, startled by the question. She had prepared for this moment, but in her mind, she had been expecting to talk about the deal, the numbers and the potential partnership. But now it seemed like Mr. R wanted to know more about her mother, about the heart of the business, not just the cold facts. Taking a deep breath, she spoke up, her voice steady despite the nerves. My mom runs a small company that makes handmade jewelry. She designs everything herself. She's been doing it for years, but it's been hard for her. She does all the work, and sometimes it's too much for one person. She's been trying to grow, to make the business bigger, but she doesn't have the resources. That's why she wanted to talk to you, because your company could help her. Mr. R listened carefully, his gaze never leaving her face. The girl could tell he was paying attention, really thinking about what she was saying. For the first time since she had entered the office, she felt like maybe she wasn't just a little girl to him. Maybe he was actually listening. So, your mother makes jewelry? He repeated slowly as if the idea was sinking in, and she wants to expand. But she doesn't have the resources to do that on her own. Is that right? The girl nodded, feeling a little more confident now that she was on familiar ground. Yes, that's right. She's been saving up for years to buy better equipment and hire more people, but it's slow. She can't do everything by herself. I know she wants to make it big, but she's afraid she won't be able to keep up with the competition. Mr. R's fingers drummed lightly on the desk as he thought. He seemed to be considering her words, his expression serious. For a few long moments, neither of them spoke. The girl shifted from one foot to the other, trying to keep her composure, but inside she was beginning to feel a little unsure. Was she doing this right? Was he going to take her seriously? Or would he just brush her off and tell her to come back when she was older? Finally, Mr. R spoke again, his voice calm and deliberate. You said your mother does all the work herself, correct? She designs the jewelry, handles the business side of things, and takes care of the orders? Yes, the girl replied. She does everything. She's amazing at it, but she's so tired sometimes. She works late into the night just to keep up. She even gets up early to pack orders. It's hard, but she doesn't complain. Mr. R nodded thoughtfully, his fingers still tapping on the desk. It sounds like your mother has a lot of passion for her work. That's important. But you're right. Doing everything by yourself can be exhausting. No one can do it alone forever. The girl was silent for a moment, unsure how to respond. She had never really thought about it like that before. She knew her mom worked hard, but hearing Mr. R say it like that made her realize just how much her mother was carrying on her shoulders. It wasn't just about the business anymore. It was about her mom's health, her well-being. I know she loves it, the girl said quietly, but sometimes I wish she didn't have to work so much. She deserves a break. Mr. R smiled slightly, his eyes softening for the first time since she'd entered the room. I can see why you're here then. You want to help her. You want her to get the support she needs. That's a good reason to come to a meeting like this. The girl nodded, feeling her chest swell with pride. She hadn't expected him to understand so easily, but it felt good to hear that he did. For a moment, she allowed herself to hope that maybe, just maybe, this meeting wasn't a mistake. Maybe she really could help her mom. Well, here's what I'm going to do, Mr. R said, leaning back in his chair. I'll review your mother's business plan, and I'll have my team look over the details. If what you're telling me is true, if she really has the potential to grow and succeed, then I'll consider offering her the support she needs. The girl's heart skipped a beat. You mean, you might help her? Mr. R gave a small nod. Maybe. But before we move forward, there's one thing I need to know. Why did your mother want to come to me? What makes you think my company would be a good fit for her business? The girl thought for a moment. Her mother had always said that Mr. R was one of the most successful businessmen in the city, that he understood how to help small companies grow into something big. She had always spoken about him with respect, even admiration. My mom always said you were the best at what you do, the girl said. She said you know how to help people like her. She said you've built your company from the ground up, and you've always cared about making things better, not just for yourself, but for others too. Mr. R didn't say anything for a while, but he seemed to be considering her words carefully. Finally, he looked up, meeting her gaze. Your mother is right, he said. I've built my business over the years by helping others, and I believe in supporting those who have the drive and the passion to succeed. But I also believe in making sure that the partnership is a good fit for both sides. It has to work for everyone. The girl nodded, feeling a little more hopeful now. She had always heard her mom talk about Mr. R's reputation, but to hear him say it in person made it feel more real. Maybe this really could work. Maybe her mom's dream was within reach. So what happens next? The girl asked, her voice a little more eager now. Mr. R smiled, a small but genuine smile. Next, I'll have my team review the business plan. We'll see if we can offer your mother the support she needs. If everything checks out, then we can talk about a partnership. The girl's face lit up. She had done it. She had come to this meeting, taken the risk, and now it seemed like things were moving in the right direction. She felt a mix of excitement and relief wash over her. Thank you, she said, her voice full of gratitude. Thank you for listening. Thank you for helping my mom. Mr. R's smile deepened. You did a good job today. You should be proud of yourself. And don't worry. We'll do what we can to make sure your mom's business gets the support it deserves. The girl felt a weight lift off her shoulders. She had come here with a mission, and now it seemed like that mission was going to succeed. She had done everything she could for her mom, and maybe, just maybe, things were going to get better. The future was looking brighter. Days passed, and the little girl couldn't stop thinking about her meeting with Mr. R. She'd gone home that afternoon with a heart full of hope, her mind replaying every moment. The conversation with the businessman had gone better than she could have imagined. It felt like a dream, but now it was real. Her mom's business had a chance, maybe even a big one. The girl kept busy in the days that followed, doing what she could to help at home. Her mother's illness was slowly improving, and though she was still weak, she insisted on getting back to work. The girl would sit beside her, sorting through jewelry designs or packing small orders. They didn't have much, but the little things they had meant the world. On the third day after the meeting, there was a knock at the door. The girl rushed to open it, her heart fluttering. Standing there was a messenger holding an envelope with Mr. R's company's logo on it. The girl's breath caught in her throat. This was it, the moment she had been waiting for. She carefully took the envelope, her hands trembling slightly. Inside was a letter, but she couldn't read the words fast enough. She had to show her mother. Mom, look. The girl ran to her mother's side, holding the envelope up with excitement. Her mom, still looking a little pale but much stronger, smiled as she reached for the letter. She opened it slowly, her eyes scanning the words. The girl watched her closely, waiting for her mother's reaction. She couldn't hold her breath any longer. "Mom, what does it say? Did they say yes?" Her mother paused for a moment, reading the letter in silence. Then she looked up, her eyes wide. "They're interested," she said softly. "They want to meet again." The girl's face broke into a huge smile. "Really? They want to help?" Her mom nodded, her voice filled with disbelief and joy. "Yes, they want to discuss how they can support us. This is exactly what we needed." The girl could hardly contain her excitement. All the hard work her mother had put in, all the late nights, the sacrifices, it was finally paying off. And it wasn't just about the business. It was about her mom getting the help she deserved. It was about seeing her mom smile again, without the weight of the world on her shoulders. The next day they went back to the office. This time her mother was with her, looking healthier and more energetic, although she still moved slowly. She had rested for the past few days, and now she was ready to take on this new chapter. As they entered the building once more, the girl's heart raced. She could feel her mother's nervous energy too, though her mom tried to hide it behind a calm face. The receptionist greeted them with a warm smile and led them to the same conference room where they had met Mr. R before. The girl sat in the same chair, her legs swinging, though now she had someone sitting beside her, her mom. Mr. R was already there, standing by the window, looking out over the city. He turned when he heard their footsteps, his face breaking into a welcoming smile. "Ah, so the famous businesswoman is here," he said, his voice friendly. "I've heard a lot about you." The girl's mom blushed, clearly flattered by the attention. "I'm not famous yet," she said with a laugh. "But I'm hoping that changes soon." Mr. R motioned for them to sit. "Well, I've gone over your business plan and I have to say I'm impressed. Your designs are unique and you have a strong foundation. It's clear you've worked hard. But what I really like is your passion. It's rare to see someone so committed." Her mother smiled, but the girl could see the hint of doubt in her eyes. "Thank you, but it's been hard," her mom admitted. "I've been doing everything on my own and I'm stretched thin. I don't know how much longer I can keep going like this. That's why I'm here today. I need help." Mr. R nodded thoughtfully, his expression serious. "I understand. And that's where I come in. My company specializes in helping small businesses grow, especially those with the potential to scale. I believe your jewelry has that potential. But we'll need to do a few things differently." The girl's mother listened carefully, her eyes not leaving Mr. R's face. "What do you mean by differently?" "Well," he began, "for one, you'll need to hire more people. You can't do everything on your own. It's about building a team that can take your vision and help it grow. You'll also need to invest in more advanced equipment, better materials, and perhaps even move into larger spaces for production. But don't worry. We'll help you with all of that." Her mother's expression shifted from cautious optimism to genuine hope. I never thought I could do that. I've always done everything myself, and it's hard to imagine sharing that responsibility with others." Mr. R smiled gently. "It's not about giving up control. It's about trusting others to help you so you can focus on what you do best. You'll be leading the charge, but you'll have people to support you, and that will give you the space to dream bigger." The girl watched her mom carefully. She could see the wheels turning in her mother's mind. She could see the fear too, fear of letting go, of changing things that had been the same for so long. But she also saw the spark of excitement, the possibility of something more. She had always known her mom was capable of great things, but hearing Mr. R speak about her business in such a positive way made her believe even more in her mother's potential. "So, what happens now?" the girl's mom asked, her voice full of anticipation. "We'll start with a partnership," Mr. R explained. "We'll provide the resources you need to expand, but we'll also be guiding you through the process. This isn't a one-time deal. It's a long-term relationship. We'll work together to make sure your business grows in the right direction." The girl felt a wave of relief wash over her. She had done it. She had helped her mom get the support she needed, the support that had been missing for so long. She looked up at her mom, who was smiling at her, her eyes full of gratitude. "I couldn't have done this without you," her mother said softly. "Thank you for being brave, for standing up for our future." "You've made all the difference," the girl beamed. "I just wanted to help." The meeting continued with more details about the partnership and the next steps. But in the back of her mind, the girl couldn't help but think about how far they had come. Just a few days ago, she had been sitting in this very room, unsure of what the future would hold. Now it felt like anything was possible. The girl had always known her mom was strong, but today she realized just how strong she was. And maybe, just maybe, her mom would get the chance to shine the way she deserved. The following months were a whirlwind of activity. What had started as a small dream was now becoming a reality, and the girl could hardly believe how much had changed in such a short amount of time. Every day felt like a new adventure, a new challenge, but her mother was no longer doing it alone. With Mr. R's company behind them, the doors that had once seemed locked now opened easily. The girl watched in awe as her mother, who had been so hesitant at first, began to embrace the changes. The weight of the world didn't seem to rest on her shoulders anymore. It was a shared responsibility now. The girl's mother hired a small team to help with production. She brought in 2 skilled jewelry makers, both of whom were excited by the opportunity to work for a business that had so much potential. The girl helped out wherever she could, learning the ropes as the days went on. Her mother taught her how to design the jewelry, how to create patterns, and how to interact with customers. She was proud to see her daughter take such an interest, but she also worried. It wasn't easy and the work was hard. But watching her daughter learn gave her strength. With Mr. R's help, they also invested in better equipment. The machines were more efficient, faster, and more precise. The small workshop, which had once felt cramped and disorganized, was now a bright, bustling space full of energy. It was the kind of place her mother had always dreamed of, but had never been able to create on her own. Now everything seemed to fall into place. The girl couldn't help but feel a sense of pride when she looked around the workshop. Her mother's designs, which had once been sold in small batches, were now being made in larger quantities. They were in stores around the city and people were starting to notice. The designs were unique and the quality was unmatched. Customers began to talk about them, to ask for custom pieces. It wasn't just jewelry anymore. It was a statement, something people were willing to invest in. But as the business grew, so did the challenges. Her mother found herself balancing more tasks than ever before, from managing the team to overseeing production. The business was thriving, but the pressure was building. There were deadlines to meet, orders to fulfill, and customers to satisfy. It wasn't the quiet, peaceful pace she had once known, and she felt the stress creeping back in. There were moments when she would retreat to her office, her face tense, trying to find a way to keep everything together. One evening, after a particularly long day, the girl sat quietly in the corner of the workshop, watching her mother. She could see the exhaustion in her eyes, the way her shoulders slumped with the weight of everything. The girl knew that her mother was doing her best, but she also knew that the work was starting to take its toll. It wasn't just about the business anymore. It was about her mom's well-being, too. "Mom," the girl said softly, walking over to where her mother was sitting. "Are you okay?" Her mother looked up, her eyes tired but warm. She smiled, though it didn't reach her eyes as it usually did. "I'm fine, sweetheart. Just a little tired." The girl frowned, walking over to sit beside her. "You've been tired for a long time. Maybe we should ask for more help. I can help more with the orders, or I can design new pieces. We don't have to do everything by ourselves." Her mother chuckled softly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "I appreciate that, honey. But you're just a kid. You don't have to worry about all this." The girl shook her head, her expression serious. "I want to help. I know it's a lot and I don't want you to get too tired again. We've come so far and I don't want you to burn out. I think we should ask Mr. R for more support. He's helped us so much already." Her mother looked at her for a moment, her gaze softening. "I don't want to ask too much of him. He's already done so much. I don't want to seem like I'm taking advantage." "You're not," the girl insisted. "He wants to help, remember? He said he's in this for the long haul. He believes in us." Her mother smiled faintly, nodding. "You're right. I guess I'm just afraid of asking for more, of seeming like I can't handle things." The girl put a hand on her mother's arm. "Mom, it's okay to ask for help. You don't have to do everything by yourself. We're a team. You've always taught me that." Her mother's eyes filled with gratitude, and for the first time in weeks she seemed to relax. "You're right. I've been so focused on trying to do everything that I forgot it's okay to ask for help." The girl smiled. "Let's call Mr. R tomorrow." That night, as the girl went to bed, she felt a sense of relief. It wasn't about the business or the money or the success. It was about knowing that they had each other, that they didn't have to carry everything alone. That more than anything was what mattered. The next morning, the girl and her mother sat down to call Mr. R. Her mom explained the situation, how the business was growing, but how they were feeling the pressure. She told him they needed more support, perhaps another team member or two, or even just someone to help with the logistics of running everything. Mr. R listened patiently, nodding as she spoke. "I understand," he said. "Growing pains are always the hardest part, but you're doing the right thing by asking for help. We'll make sure you have what you need. I'll send over a few people who can help with the operations side of things. You won't have to carry the weight alone anymore." The girl's heart soared when she heard those words. She had known it was the right decision. It felt like a weight had been lifted from her mother's shoulders, and she could hear the relief in her voice. "We'll work it out together," Mr. R continued. "You've built something incredible here, and now it's time to make sure it lasts. You're not alone in this." The girl's mother smiled, her voice full of gratitude. "Thank you. Thank you for everything." "Of course," Mr. R replied. "You've got this. You've already proven what you can do." As they hung up the phone, the girl looked at her mother, her eyes filled with hope. "See? It's going to be okay." Her mother nodded, pulling her into a tight hug. "You've been my rock, sweetheart. I don't know what I'd do without you." The girl smiled, feeling the warmth of her mother's embrace. "We're a team, remember? We've got this." And in that moment, she realized that the business wasn't just about jewelry or profits or success. It was about family, about sticking together, and about trusting each other through the ups and downs. No matter what came next, they would face it together. Months passed, and the jewelry business flourished. The once small workshop was now bustling with life, its walls filled with the sounds of creativity, hard work, and laughter. The girl watched her mother transform, not just as a businesswoman, but as a person. She had grown stronger, more confident, and most importantly, happier. The burden of doing everything alone had been lifted, and with the right help, her business was thriving in ways she had never imagined. The team had grown, with more skilled workers joining the business. The girl's mom wasn't spending sleepless nights anymore, working herself to exhaustion. Instead, she was leading her team, working alongside them and making the big decisions. She still designed the jewelry, still poured her heart and soul into every piece, but now there were people to help with the production, the orders, and the business side of things. It felt like a dream come true. The girl, now a little older, was also more involved. She had become more than just her mother's assistant. She was learning the ropes of the business, from managing inventory to helping design new collections. Her mom often said that she was the future of the company, and the girl couldn't help but feel proud. She had always believed in her mom, but now she was seeing how her mother's hard work was paying off. They were no longer just surviving, and they were thriving. One day, as the girl sat at the desk in the workshop sketching out new jewelry designs, her mother walked in, a big smile on her face. "I've got some exciting news," her mom said, her voice full of energy. The girl looked up from her sketches, her curiosity piqued. "What is it?" "We've been invited to showcase our designs at the city's biggest annual trade show. It's a huge event, and it's going to put our work in front of some of the biggest buyers and designers in the industry." The girl's eyes widened. This was the kind of opportunity they had only dreamed of. The trade show was a big deal, and being invited meant that people were taking notice of their work. It was a chance to showcase the business on a larger scale, to reach more customers, and to connect with influential people who could help them grow even more. "Mom, this is amazing," the girl exclaimed, jumping up from her seat. "This could change everything." Her mother smiled, clearly thrilled by the news. "I know. It's a big opportunity, and I'm so proud of how far we've come. But it's going to take a lot of preparation. We'll need to showcase our best designs, have everything organized, and make sure we're ready to impress. It's a lot of work, but we can do it." The girl nodded eagerly. "We've got this. We've already come so far. This is just the next step." Over the next few weeks, the entire team worked tirelessly to prepare for the trade show. They spent long hours designing new collections, perfecting their best-selling pieces, and making sure everything was packed and ready to be presented. The girl helped her mom with the final touches, making sure that each piece of jewelry was polished to perfection. It was an exciting time, but also a stressful one. There were deadlines to meet, details to iron out, and last-minute changes that seemed to pop up every day. But the girl felt more confident than ever. They had the support they needed, and with every passing day, the business was growing stronger. The day of the trade show arrived. and the girl could hardly contain her excitement. She stood beside her mother in the showroom, surrounded by booths displaying some of the most stunning jewelry designs from around the world. The space was filled with industry professionals, buyers, and designers, all eager to find the next big thing. The girl's heart raced as she watched the visitors stop by their booth, admiring the designs and asking questions. Her mother was in her element, speaking confidently to potential buyers and explaining the inspiration behind each collection. The girl watched her mom, filled with pride. This was the woman who had started it all, who had worked tirelessly to turn a small idea into a thriving business. As the day went on, more and more people stopped by their booth, some admiring the intricate designs, others asking about custom orders. The girl couldn't believe how far they had come. Just a year ago, they had been struggling to keep up, unsure of where the next order would come from. Now they were at a major event, showing off their work to some of the most influential people in the industry. It felt surreal. At one point during the show, a well-dressed woman approached their booth looking at the jewelry with a keen eye. She was older than the others, with a refined presence that commanded attention. She studied the pieces carefully before turning to the girl's mother. "These designs are exquisite," the woman said, her voice calm and confident. "Where did you get the inspiration for these?" The girl's mother smiled, her eyes lighting up. "Thank you. Each piece tells a story, inspired by nature and the world around us. I believe jewelry should be more than just something you wear. It should have meaning." The woman nodded thoughtfully, her gaze lingering on one of the necklaces. "I can see that. It's rare to see such detail and passion in designs these days. I'm with a high-end boutique chain, and we're always looking for new talent. I'd love to talk more about carrying your designs in our stores." The girl's mother's eyes widened, a mix of surprise and excitement on her face. "Really, that would be incredible," the woman smiled. "I think we could work together. Let's exchange information, and we'll set up a meeting to discuss how we can make this happen." The girl stood there in awe, watching the exchange. This was the moment they had been waiting for, the kind of opportunity they could only dream of. Her mother had always believed in her designs and their potential, but now others were starting to see it too. The girl felt a wave of pride swell inside her. They had worked so hard for this, and now it was paying off in ways they had never imagined. As the trade show came to a close, the girl and her mother packed up their booth, exhausted but exhilarated by the success of the day. They had made connections, received praise for their designs, and even secured a meeting with a major retailer. It was everything they had hoped for and more. On the drive home, the girl couldn't stop smiling. "Mom, we did it. We really did it." Her mother looked over at her, her face glowing with pride. "We did, and it's just the beginning. There's so much more ahead of us." The girl nodded, feeling the weight of their journey but also the excitement of the future. They had started with nothing but a dream, and now they were building something that could last. The road hadn't been easy, but they had come through it stronger, closer, and more determined than ever. As they pulled into their driveway, the girl looked at her mom, her heart full of gratitude. "I'm so proud of you," she said quietly. Her mother smiled, reaching over to squeeze her hand. "I'm proud of you too. You've been with me every step of the way. You've helped me more than you know." Together, they stepped out of the car, ready to face whatever came next. It wasn't just about the jewelry, the business, or the success they had achieved. It was about family, about love, and about believing in each other. Whatever the future held, they knew they would face it together, with strength and determination.